The Court of Appeals of New York decided that a parent of a child who has not legally adopted that child and who is not a biological parent may, in certain contexts, still be treated as a legal parent for purposes of custody and visitation. The strategy of advocates of same-sex marriage and lesbian and gay rights generally has, for purposes of relationship recognition thus far, to avoid taking this case to the Supreme Court. Instead, the strategy has been to argue on the basis of state constitutional law in state courts. Eventually, this is going to have to be resolved by the United States Supreme Court. The question is when. If the Supreme Court were to decide that, that would apply to all states, and that could lead to it could have positive results, but right now, given the constitution of the court, advocates of same-sex marriage are betting that the court would decide against them and don't want to create bad precedent across 50 states. This decision goes a little bit beyond the prior decisions of the courts, which recognized marriages from other jurisdictions, and said that we'll recognize parental status from other jurisdictions where that parental status comes not from a marriage but from a civil union. What the significance of this change is that people who have been acting as a parent can, even if they haven't adopted the child, be counted as a parent if they're in a legally recognized relationship from another jurisdiction. And one thing that many lawyers who deal with these kind of cases are recommending to their clients is a kind of belt and suspenders approach. If you want to make sure that your relationship with the person that you're raising, the child that you're raising, is going to be recognized when you go traveling across the United States, well, you should adopt and marry the other parent. Because there's a kind of patchwork of recognition and non-recognition, you want to make sure that your relationship with your child is going to get legally recognized. So you should do whatever steps possible to recognize it. And that's really the message of this case. It may well be another 10, 20, 30, maybe 50 years before we have no more patchwork on this issue. I think the status quo of patchwork of recognition and non-recognition of same-sex relationships is something that we're going to be dealing with for quite a while.